What if the most potent statement you could make requires no words at all? Consider this: no angry messages, no desperate calls, no subtle jabs online, just pure silence. Solid, undisturbed, unshakable silence. Not because you're weak, but because you're in absolute command. What if your quiet itself became the resolution, the consequence, the statement? Because when you truly go silent, people feel it in places words could never touch. She didn't anticipate this. She expected chaos. She thought you'd crumble, plead, try to win her back. She was waiting for the same script she'd seen, or even written before. But this time, something shattered. And it wasn't just your heart. It was the fantasy that she could walk away, yet still keep you on standby. She assumed you'd remain an emotional safety net while she tested other choices. She bet you'd still be there when she circled back. But you disappeared. Not in anger, not in sorrow, but in stillness. And that's what makes it devastating. Most men react with emotion. They pursue, they justify, they beg for validation. But a man of Stoicism does the opposite. He releases. He acknowledges the hurt, but he doesn't let it consume him. He doesn't need her to grasp the depth of his care. He doesn't require an explanation to move forward. His silence is his resolution. It declares, "I have nothing more for you. My energy is no longer yours. You made your choice. Now live with it." And that silence, it will linger in her mind because it leaves an emptiness, a space where she once held control, a space once filled by your focus, your feelings, your existence. She'll search for it again, and when she finds nothing, that's when the doubt seeps in. Not when you're reaching out, not when you're pleading, but when you've simply vanished, off the radar, growing beyond her reach. This isn't about vengeance, it's about reclaiming your strength. It's about transforming pain into momentum. It's about honing emotional discipline until your quiet speaks louder than any outburst. This is where Stoicism intersects with unspoken influence, where restraint becomes magnetic, where detachment becomes authority, where silence becomes the weapon she never expected. So I'll ask once more, what if the most powerful move you could make is no move at all? If you're tired of begging for answers, if you're done waiting for someone who treated you as disposable, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I release what I cannot control. Now, let's begin. Number 1. The strength of silence. Silence is not a sign of defeat, it's a strategic battle. It's the unexpected move that unsettles her because it doesn't stroke her ego, affirm her dominance, or provide her with reassurance. Most men, when hurt, spiral into desperation. They flood her inbox, spill their emotions in lengthy messages, and scramble for the right words to win her back. But here's the reality. Every text you send after she leaves only proves she still holds power over you. Each message is a tether, binding you to someone who has already moved on. Silence, however, changes the game. It's the choice of a man who refuses to keep proving himself, a man who recognizes his worth and refuses to waste it on someone who sees him as disposable. He learns that saying nothing speaks louder than any words ever could. Silence isn't empty. It carries meaning. It says, you don't get to leave and still have access to me. You don't get to push me away and keep my focus. You don't get both. The second you embrace silence, the balance of power shifts. You stop reacting. You stop chasing. You become unreachable. And that absence, it echoes. She feels it in the mornings when your messages don't greet her. She notices it in the empty notifications. She senses it when she shares something online, and your name is nowhere to be found. That silence becomes a void, one that forces her to sit with the reality she thought she wanted. Here's where the disciplined man stands apart from the rest. His silence isn't a tactic to provoke a reaction. It's the result of no longer needing one. He doesn't engage in mind games. He values his peace. His silence isn't manipulation. It's self-respect. It's mastery over his emotions. He refuses to fuel a cycle that steals his tranquility. He accepts what he cannot change and releases what he cannot control. That isn't weakness, it's power. So when she finally understands you're truly gone, no lingering messages, no social media interactions, no casual check-ins, it strikes differently. She's accustomed to chaos, outbursts, and emotional reactions, but you gave her nothing. And nothing is the one thing she can't twist, argue with, or erase. If you're done reacting, if you're finished playing the fool for someone who walked away, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. My silence is my power. Master what you can, release what you can't pain. Cuts deepest when you fight against what you can't change. You can't demand love, you can't debate someone into valuing you, and you certainly can't hold on to someone who's already walking away. The second you try, you surrender your power, trading your peace for a delusion. That's where most men trap themselves, trying to repair what was never theirs to mend. But Stoicism offers a different path, one of freedom. You control only two things, your actions and your mindset. The rest? Let it go. When you stop trying to change her, you begin changing yourself. No more performing for validation, no more pleading for answers. Instead, you commit to your own principles. A Stoic man doesn't beg, he doesn't chase, he accepts. Not because he's numb, but because he won't be governed by emotion. Her distance doesn't destabilize him because his worth isn't tied to her presence. He holds his frame, and when she sees that her exit didn't break you, that's when doubt seeps in. Here's the reality. Breakups feel chaotic because you're fighting the inevitable. Rewriting old texts, replaying conversations, obsessing over what-ifs. That's emotional bondage. Freedom arrives the moment you decide, she's gone, and I'm still whole. You stop asking why and start building what's next. That shift from reaction to intention is where transformation begins. That's where you ascend. Strength isn't found in controlling others. It's forged in mastering yourself. You become magnetic when you stop chasing and start choosing. The instant you release what you can't control, you become unshakable. If you're done trying to reverse her choice, if you're ready to command your response, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I master what's mine and release the rest. Attraction through absence. Disappearing isn't a game, it's psychology. We desire what's scarce. We pursue what retreats. The second you exit her world, your value surpasses any text you could have sent. When you were always there, quick to reply, eager to engage, she knew you were predictable, safe. But when you go silent, when your presence evaporates, that's when her mind races. Where is he? Why no contact? Is he already moving on? Now she's the one seeking answers. That's where real attraction ignites. Here's the brutal truth. Women rarely mourn the loss of a man who begged. They regret losing the man who made them feel secure, then walked away with quiet strength. The strength of emotional mastery. A true man feels deeply but refuses to be ruled by his emotions. That's the essence of Stoicism blended with strategic detachment. You don't give her the satisfaction of knowing you're still orbiting her world. You sever the connection. You vanish, not to punish her, but to uphold your own dignity. Because if someone can walk away from you without a second thought, they forfeit the right to witness your journey forward. Distance amplifies attraction, not the fake kind, but the kind born of deliberate absence, the kind that makes her confront the weight of her own decisions, the kind that plants doubt where she once felt certainty. If she doesn't look back, good, you've already grown. If she does, even better, you're no longer waiting. Scarcity breeds demand, and that demand is built on silence, discipline, and the resolve to step back and let your absence speak for itself. She'll notice, she'll question. But you've already moved on. In a world drowning in neediness, scarcity is power. If you're tired of begging for your worth and ready to let silence do the talking, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. My absence is my leverage. Let her face the consequences. Stop shielding people from the fallout of their own choices. She made a decision when she pulled away, when she stopped investing, when she set you free. Whether she did it silently or with fireworks, it was still her call. Most men, when wounded, rush to fix things, begging for answers, seeking closure, softening the blow, but all that does is rob her of the regret she deserves. If you cushion her guilt, you deny her the lesson. You make it easy. You become her emotional safety net. And she doesn't deserve one. Let her sit with it. Let her wonder why you never returned. Let her scroll through your social media and find only silence. Let her grasp that your attention was never an obligation. It was a privilege. That your love wasn't weakness. It was strength. And now, it's gone. This is where Stoicism turns ruthless, not out of cruelty, but clarity. You don't resent her. You don't wish her pain. But you're done saving people from themselves. You won't dilute the lesson just because you once cared. Let her feel the full weight of her choice. Only then will she understand what she discarded. Want to make a woman regret losing you? Don't send a manifesto, don't plead your case. Just walk away, completely, and rebuild without her. That's when the silence roars. That's when she realizes, I didn't lose just any man. I lost him. And by the time it dawns on her, you'll be far beyond her reach, not out of spite, but self-respect, growth, and reverence for the man you're becoming. If you're done protecting her from the consequences she created, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. She chose this: rebuild in silence, rise in shadows. The most powerful transformations happen without fanfare. The greatest comebacks aren't announced. They're forged in isolation, focus, and discipline. After heartbreak, most men crave visibility. They want to show her they're thriving, posting their glow up, begging for her attention without saying a word. But that's still reacting. That's still performing. A Stoic man doesn't broadcast his progress. He becomes the progress. He doesn't need applause or validation. His grind is personal. His evolution is private. When you rebuild in silence, you rise without noise. You stop explaining and start executing. You train not to prove anything to her, but to reclaim your body, your power, your control. You level up mentally, financially, spiritually, not for revenge, but because staying broken is no longer an option. And here's what makes it lethal. She won't see it coming. While she expects a version of you stuck in pain, you're outgrowing the entire situation. There's something dangerously magnetic about a man who disappears into discipline. No tweets, no updates, no look at me now. Just silence. Then one day, she stumbles upon the new you. Not the man who cried over her, but the one who doesn't even flinch when her name comes up. The man who once begged now walks with purpose. And that hits harder than any words you could have shouted. This is where psychology takes over. People chase what they no longer understand. Mystery breeds obsession. She'll wonder how you healed, who you became, what she lost. But by then, you won't be performing. You'll be too busy living, too focused on purpose to care about proving anything to her. If you're done performing and ready to move in silence, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. My growth speaks louder than words. Emotion is a tool, not a master. Pain is real, no question. But letting it control you, that's a choice. When she left, it wasn't just heartbreak. It was betrayal, ego death. The gut punch of being discarded like you meant nothing. And yeah, the temptation is there to lash out, to drown in it, to let the pain steer. But here's the truth. A Stoic man knows emotions are signals, not commands. You feel them, but they don't get to run the show. This is where most men lose themselves. They get drunk on emotion, making decisions from the wound instead of wisdom. A disciplined man? He feels it fully, then channels it. He doesn't run from pain, he uses it. Every ounce of heartbreak becomes fuel for the gym, for the hustle, for unshakable focus. He turns rejection into obsession with his goals, his peace, his purpose. He doesn't break, he sharpens. Stoicism isn't about numbness, it's about mastery. You don't suppress what you feel, you harness it. Anger becomes discipline, sadness becomes depth, loneliness becomes self-reliance. You stop being a slave to your emotions and start wielding them like weapons, not against her, but for you. The man who controls his emotions controls the game, and when she sees you're no longer reacting, when she realizes her absence didn't destroy you, but defined you, that's when the power shifts. Permanently. If you're ready to turn pain into power, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. I master my emotions. They don't master me. Mastering your emotions. You still think about her. That's natural. But you refuse to be a slave to those thoughts. You acknowledge them, breathe through them, and keep moving. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, every time you stay disciplined when memories surface, you win. Silently, unshakably. You don't let fleeting emotions dictate your actions. You let self-control speak instead. Because once you conquer your inner world, no external force can destabilize you. If you're done being controlled by emotion and ready to transform pain into power, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. I feel deeply, but I act wisely. Silence speaks louder. You owe her nothing, no reply, no final talk, not even a glance. When someone disregards your worth, your silence becomes the answer. Most people can handle fights, closure conversations, even outbursts. What they can't handle, being met with nothing. That's where true power lies. She expects a reaction. She's used to the drama, the back and forth, the emotional bargaining. But when you give absolute silence, you break the cycle. You create an emptiness she can't manipulate. You withhold what most men freely give, attention. And once that's gone, she's left alone with her choices. No energy to feed on, no emotional payoff, just stillness. This isn't about spite. It's about self-respect. You don't respond because there's nothing left to say. The connection is gone, the respect is dead, and you've learned the hard truth. Peace is louder than closure. You don't chase explanations, you don't beg for answers. You move, you grow, you become untouchable. If you're ready to let silence do the talking, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. No response is my strongest response. Your silence becomes your strength. You become unavailable, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Your attention becomes a luxury. Your time becomes sacred. Let them wonder. Let them sit with the silence, the unanswered messages, the unreturned energy. Let them feel what it's like to be met with stillness. Because silence doesn't negotiate. It doesn't beg for closure. It simply ends things in a way words never could. If you're tired of explaining yourself to people who don't deserve your words, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. My silence says everything. Reframe the narrative. You didn't get rejected. You got redirected. It's easy to believe she left because you weren't enough. That if you had loved harder, been better, done more, she would have stayed. But here's the truth. Her leaving wasn't the end of your worth. It was the start of your clarity. You didn't lose her. You lost the illusion that she was meant for you. And that's a victory. Stoicism is about perspective. You don't control what happens. You control how you frame it. And when you reframe the pain, everything shifts. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" you start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That's the pivot. That's where power is born. Pain isn't your enemy. Confusion isn't your enemy. Clinging to a false story, that's your enemy. The moment you rewrite the narrative, you reclaim your power. She didn't break you. She revealed you. She exposed the cracks you ignored, the weak boundaries, the need for validation, the parts of you that still depended on someone else's presence to feel whole. She didn't destroy you. She handed you the chance to become unbreakable. Now you rebuild, but this time with stronger foundations, sharper vision, and a heart that doesn't surrender so easily. You're not a victim of her choice. You're the author of what comes next. You decide how the story is told. And in your story, the heartbreak was just the prologue. If you're done living in the old narrative and ready to rewrite your ending, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. This pain rewrote my power. Become the man you admire. Stop chasing her. Start chasing him. The unshakable version of yourself who doesn't crumble when someone leaves. The man who doesn't beg for validation because he carries his worth within him. The one who enters a room and commands respect without saying a word. His presence alone speaks volumes. This isn't about revenge or proving her wrong. It's about deserving that unbreakable strength. Ask yourself, if I met the man I'm becoming, would I respect him? Would I follow him? Or would I see someone still stuck in the past? This is your turning point. You stop measuring your value by her actions and start defining it by your own code. Discipline, integrity, power, stillness. You build in silence. You rise with unshakable presence. She left? Fine. Now construct a life so full that her absence doesn't even register. You don't need to replace her. You replace the weaker version of you that needed her. The man who knows his worth, doesn't chase, doesn't argue, doesn't beg. He chooses. He demands respect without raising his voice. He doesn't need to be loud. His energy speaks for him. This version of you, he's sharper, more focused. He moves differently. And by the time she realizes what she lost, the man she knew will be gone, replaced by someone she no longer recognizes, someone she can no longer reach. If you're done being the man she wanted and ready to become the man you respect, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. I am becoming the man I admire, the echo of your absence. You didn't block her, didn't scream, didn't create drama. You simply vanished. And that silence, it's louder than any words you could have said. Now, every time she opens her phone, while you're not reacting, while you're not chasing, that silence becomes an echo, following her everywhere. When a man truly lets go, it leaves a mark, not because he hurt her, but because he didn't. No meltdown, no final plea, just stillness. Just a man who chose peace over chaos, who didn't flinch when she walked away. That kind of silence lingers. It shows her the space she thought she could fill later is now empty forever. You don't owe her a performance. You don't owe her closure. Your absence is the closure, and it haunts her because now she's the one replaying memories, not you. You've already moved forward, silent and unstoppable, while she scrolls, searching for proof you still care. But you're too busy building a life where her memory doesn't even matter. If you're ready to let your absence speak for you, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. My silence is my final word. The unforgettable exit of a Stoic man. This is what happens when a man of discipline lets go, not with rage, but with resolve. And the most haunting thing isn't passion, it's peace. Long after her curiosity fades, she'll still hear the echo of your silence. But by then, you'll already be beyond her reach. If you're finished being an option, if you're ready to become legendary by disappearing completely, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. My absence will be my legacy. Final truth. Walking away is evolution. This was never about ego, it's about elevation. You're not leaving to punish her, you're leaving to protect you. No more explaining, no more proving, no more shrinking just to be noticed. That version of you, the one who chased, who overanalyzed, who made himself available to someone who treated him as disposable, he's gone, and thank God. Because now, you move with weight. Now your silence carries intention. And anyone who didn't value your presence doesn't deserve to hear your voice again. You owe yourself one thing, to move forward with clarity, with strength, with discipline. Not bitter, just better. This isn't about winning her back. It's about never losing yourself again. She expected you to crumble. She assumed you'd wait in the wings. She never anticipated you'd go silent forever. But now that you have, you've made yourself unforgettable. So here's your final play. Release completely. Walk away like you mean it. And build a life so anchored, so powerful, so at peace that even your silence leaves an imprint. If you're done chasing closure, if you're ready to let the past rest in stillness, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. I leave with peace, not fragments. This is Masculine Stoic Mind. Stay unshakable, stay silent, stay lethal.